Good day. Welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. In 2022, oil giant ExxonMobil took out some $49.7 billion towards cleanup activities, while Guyana received a mere $18.8 billion in royalty payments from the company in 2022. This means Exxon took out more than 2 times what it gave Guyana in royalty for a single cost. According to the production sharing agreement the APNU-AFC coalition government signed with Exxon, Guyana received a meager 2% royalty on the resources sold. The contract also enables the contractor to control the decommissioning funds until it is needed. Decommissioning refers to the cleanup and restoration of the ocean floor following the life of an oil project. It involves the removal of the subsea umbilicals, risers, and flow lines and other technical equipment used during the process of the oil extraction. In other news, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Shalimar Ali-Haq, on Tuesday informed the police that as a result of the 16-year-old girl withdrawing her rape complaint against Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Dharamlal, there is no legal provision for the matter to proceed. Last Thursday, the DPP returned the police file on the rape allegations against the minister, instructing that ranks do further investigations into the matter. However, the following day, the Guyana Police Force, in a statement, announced that the teen informed police investigators that she no longer wished to continue with the matter. And the Environmental Protection Agency, in a public notice updated to its website on Sunday, revealed it has approved ExxonMobil's 35 multi-well exploration and appraisal drilling campaign in the Stabroek Block. The proposed drilling activities are expected to commence in the 3rd quarter of this year, while Guyana is yet to be fully protected against an environmental disaster caused by an oil spill. Exxon's project summary for the multi-well program indicated that at least 50 simultaneous development projects will be pursued in the resource-rich acreage. This not only increases the chance of a massive spill, but also could see Guyana footing any cleanup costs above the $600 million insurance and the $2 billion affiliate company guarantee that ESSO has since provided to the EPA. And now let's tell you the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative has lifted the suspension on Guyana, saying that its board is satisfied that the outstanding EITI report was published within 6 months of the deadline. The EITI board had temporarily suspended Guyana on February 1st for failing to publish its 2020 EITI report. In a terse statement on the website, the EITI said, in accordance with its standard, it was agreed that the suspension would be lifted if the EITI board is satisfied that the outstanding report was published within 6 months of the deadline. And in other news, police in Linden are on the hunt for a suspect who allegedly raped a woman on Monday evening while she was walking home from the salon. We understand that the suspect drove behind the woman, pulled her into the car, and drove to another location where he raped her. After allegedly raping her, the man reportedly took the woman to another location before making good his escape. Region 10 Commander Curly Simon confirmed that a report was made and the police are actively pursuing the suspect. A man on Monday dropped a carburized bag containing a single-barrel shotgun loaded with a 12-gauge cartridge after he saw police ranks heading towards him at Lime Tree Back Dam, Region 7. The ranks were on a mobile patrol when they noticed the man dropped the bag and ran. As a result, they chased the man, who managed to evade them. Notwithstanding his escape, the ranks retrieved the bag containing the loaded gun. And just before we head to a short break, let's tell you, soon works will commence on 4 new pump stations in Regions 3 and 4, which are estimated to cost some $3.6 billion, as bids were recently opened for the contracts at the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board office. The National Drainage and Irrigation Authority The procuring entity noted that the pump stations will be constructed in areas such as Metin Zorg on the west coast of Demerara, in the Port Rhine area on the west bank of Demerara, Bellevue also on the west bank, and at Jimbo at Grove East Bank, Demerara. The time is now 12 hours 12 in Guyana, and you're listening to Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith, and this is your news at noon. We'll take a short break and return.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. In a dramatic turn of events, President Ali on Tuesday night announced that rape-accused local government minister Nigel Dharam-Lal has resigned from his post and member of parliament as well. The president has since accepted the former minister's resignation. Meanwhile, a total of 6 houses were destroyed by high winds in the village of Aishalton, Upper Takatu, Upper Essequibo on June 30th. This was confirmed by Regional Chairman of Region 9, Brian Alicock. After receiving the report, the Civil Defense Commission, along with regional authorities, conducted a damage assessment. As a result of that initial assessment, the CDC dispatched food hampers, tarpaulins, hammocks, and cleaning hampers to the impacted residents. The traumatized residents, comprising 13 adults and 22 children, thanked the government through the CDC and Region 9's administration for the swift assistance. This is according to DPI. And in other news, popular businessman Michael Morgan was on Tuesday found guilty of trafficking some 3.2 kilograms of cocaine. According to a statement from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, Morgan was found guilty by Magistrate Sunil Skeers at the Diamond Magistrates Court, and Morgan was found guilty and sentencing was deferred to the 14th of July. The guilty verdict came 1 year after his arrest at his residence in Eccles. Morgan was arrested in June last year after Kanu officers acting on intelligence conducted a search at his home where a quantity of cocaine and 27 9mm rounds, 1.32 Taurus firearm, along with 1 magazine and 25 matching .32 rounds were found. And that brings us to the end of today's news at noon. But before we go, we have to be a little blunt with you today by turning the pages of today's Kaieteur newspaper, of course, to page 7. Let the courts decide. The fact that a complaint has been withdrawn does not bring an end to the investigation of the allegation of sexual misconduct against Nigel Dharam-Lal. It is, we believe, for the court to decide on whether to accept the withdrawal of the complaint or to proceed with charges. Justice cannot be solely determined by the willingness of a complainant to proceed. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Wednesday, July 5th. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Welcome to the midweek edition of the National Outlook. And we go to oil. We go to oil. And the first thing that came out of last Friday's Kaieteur News, right in the middle of the page and straight in your face, even with Raphael Trotman's support for renegotiation to lopsided Exxon deal, VP Jagdeo says no. A loud no, a nationally heard no. No to renegotiation. I think that that's a wrong move by the Honorable Vice President. I think that he himself has had many problems, severe problems with the 2016 contract. And here is an opportunity provided by the man himself who signed on behalf of the coalition government, the PNU AFC, and the Guyanese nation. Brother Jagdeo has been given an opportunity to seek ways where he can bring Exxon to the negotiating table. But right off the bat, he says no. Immediately, his instantaneous reflexive reaction is no. No to renegotiation. It does not look good for our brother, our vice president, our man in charge of the oil, a former president of this nation. It does not look good. If a ranking member, a one-time ranking member of the opposition, of the now opposition, of the previous government, could come out and say, no contract is inviolable, meaning that it cannot be breached. Therefore, renegotiation, if that's what it is, I will endorse it, I will support it. I think me sitting as vice president would grasp at that. For then, if I have the opposition on my side, and I don't know if Mr. Trotman is speaking for the opposition or just purely for himself, I think mainly it's for himself, but he puts Dr. Jagdeo in a bind, and he puts the opposition in a bind. Dr. Jagdeo has already signaled where he is. No, don't want to hear it. Not a word of it. The opposition has to show where it stands on renegotiation. That, if they are to come out and say, hey, listen, we're all for it, and we want to be a part of it, I think that that's the best thing that could happen to Guyana. Because now, think of this, and it's a wonderful thought just to have. We could have the PDP and the PNC, I call it the PNC, PNU, AFC, whatever, joining hands together for a common cause. The common cause is this 2016 Exxon oil contract that virtually enslaves us. I have to tell you over and over again, we are the richest people in the world, and somehow we are the poorest. We are the poorest at the same time, because how many of you listening to this program or reading the newspaper have enough to enjoy a quality of life that reflects the richest people in the world? I don't think many of us. I don't think many at the bottom of the second half, maybe the third, the three quarters, maybe 90%. Towards from the top to the end of the economic scale. In other words, what I'm saying, less than 10% is rich, and the others are struggling to get by. I think that Dr. Jagdeo made a mistake, and he can correct that. When he does this, he shows how much Exxon has got him where they want him. This is not good for Guyana. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Raphael Trotman has now cleared the air. He is saying that he never acted alone when he signed that Exxon contract. He had the full backing of President Granger and the entire coalition cabinet before he signed it. So there you have it. It's clear. President David Granger and his entire cabinet was part of that sellout or giveaway with that ExxonMobil lopsided contract. Trotman officially cleared the air and put it to rest what people were accusing him of doing, that he refused export advice and acted alone. No. He said he acted with the instructions from his bosses. Then Trotman went on to say, President Granger's advisor on oil and gas, Dr. Jan Mangal, and others had their own perspective on what the contract should entail, what it should be, guys. And those views, he said, were shared with President Granger himself. He noted, however, if my superiors wished, they could have stopped me from proceeding with signing that contract, but no one, let me repeat, no one stopped him from doing it. So the contract was not a secret. The man made his point very clear there. He is also saying, in no uncertain terms, that the contract can be renegotiated, and he is willing to lend his expertise to do so, if and when the government is ready. So now, it's all up to President Ali. But he has not said a single word to date. As for Vice President Jagdeo, who is now heading the oil sector, said he's not bothering with Trotman or what Trotman is saying. There you go. There you go. As for Norton, he too has not said a single word to date. A country captured with its people, its resources, without a single shot fired. You guys must read that story. And have a nice day.
Mercy.